Hey guys, Youngblood Fantasy 92 here with my first rant of the year, if you can believe it. Been busy lately and I haven't got the chance to craft a rant, but I'm here now and I'm ready to get back into the grind. Anyway, today I'm going to talk about a subject that has been digging into my ears long enough. Mainstream music and how it is exploited. I've been getting requests to do Kidz Bop rants and I have vacillated for some time. But now I wish to draw the line on this nonsense. Mainstream music has become something of a commercial juggernaut for music companies and huge franchises alike. The thing is, dissemination of the music is inversely proportional to how well the music is thought out and how it is executed. What I mean is, the more potential today's music has to becoming a phenomenon in our world, the more of a chance it sounds highly commercialized, uncreative, and rap. I can mention two major ways in which mainstream music has become nothing short of a corporate dilution and a tool of the manufacturing companies with impressionable musicians. The thing I want to discuss is Kidz Bop, the first thing. Now, what does Kidz Bop do that makes us want to tear our ears off? Well, let me think. Let's take the songs we know and love for our time and make kids sing it and reiterate the same crap again so that kids can relate to this terrible music and advocate it so that we get more of a demographic for our future. So it's like, now that's what I call music with children singing the vocals. How awfully creative it is. So you could take any song from today or recent years like Soulja Boy and make the kids sing it so that other kids would get the hint that this song is reasonable for their ears to hear. What a concept that is, my friends! The only problem is that Kidz Bop tries too hard to relate all the music to the children out there. What do I mean? Well, let's just take a look at their recent catalog of albums. Oh, looky here! They did an entire cover album on the Beatles! Why did they do this? Oh, let me think. Well, because they could cash in on the phenomenon of the Beatles at the time. Beatles Rock Band was released, all the Beatles albums would be remastered, so let's just jump on the bandwagon and act like we're hip. Let's make kids sing these songs because obviously we can make money off the revival of the Beatles in the media. I'm sure somebody in PR was patting himself on the back thinking about how wonderful an idea that was and how much of a genius he thinks he goddamn is. And the song listing here? Well, it gives you an idea about how wonderful their covering skills are. See, when I want to see how well others cover songs in terms of the Beatles, I go with the Hello Goodbye test. The test is fairly simple in itself. I compare the Beatles song Hello Goodbye with the version done by the other party. If the other party managed to sound as good or as reasonable enough with that song, then I have hope for them yet. If not, then we know the song was crafted by corporate fat cats who wanted to simply take advantage of the revived Beatlemania out there. Here are the two versions of the songs.
Hello, hello. I don't know why you say goodbye. I say hello. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. I don't know why you say goodbye. I say hello. Hello, hello.
What's wrong with the Kidz Bop version? I'll tell you what's wrong with the Kidz Bop version. Their singing sucked! Where is the emotion in the song? They all sound like robots that were forced to sing this. And the editing was totally ruined. The ending is the most epic part of the song, and they had to go and ruin it by connecting the notes together. You don't sing it legato, you sing it staccato. You split the notes up at the end. You don't join the notes together. It sounds like a piece of crap. Anyways, I'll move on to a new topic or else I'll never stop talking about this crap. Now we'll discuss the Media Slaves, Alvin and the Chipmunks. I'm not referring to the older 80s Alvin and the Chipmunks. They are made of wood and they should be treasured as classic cartoon heroes alongside your other Saturday morning cartoons. I'm talking about the current Alvin and the Chipmunks, whose albums of cover songs are a pathetic attempt at trying to revive interest in the Chipmunks 3. Now let me explain before any of you guys start to complain. The new Alvin and the Chipmunks movie that was made for the same reason every remake ever was ever made, so that today's generation would get the benefit of knowing the classics for today. But in this portrayal of classic cartoon characters, they fail horribly by making them 3D, as they did with Underdog, and they try to make them act like idiots by applying today's culture on their attitudes. I think that infusion of popular culture on classic cartoon characters under the excuse that it produces a new spin on the cartoon is really a pathetic attempt to make the characters relative to the new whiny generation we have to deal with. And these attempts suck! Now the soundtracks to these movies are an attempt to revive the chipmunk way with their covers of songs. I delved into one of the albums and I found that they did a cover of Rock and Roll by Led Zeppelin. At first, towards the beginning, I thought it was somewhat reasonable and in fact kind of liked it. But then, the Chipmunks did something so radical, so ridiculous, so infuriatingly sickening that it would make any sane Led Zeppelin fan have a seizure. They rapped in the center of the song. Don't believe me? Here's the cover to prove it! Why did they have to rap in the center of the song? Why did they have to do that? It was entirely unnecessary and destroyed any semblance of me liking the song. It was nothing but a way to pander to the rap bands out there that could care less about other music's influences. What was the point of that? Absolutely nothing! Because it was Alvin and the Chipmunks trying to cash in on what our generation thinks is cool, and that attempt failed horribly. To think that it has some semblance of a place in our mainstream music really makes me sick to my stomach. Automatically, everyone eats this up, and they do this because they are oblivious to the fact that mainstream music, or most of it, is made up to pander to them in one form or another. So, let us review what we learned so far. Mainstream music, the music that we embrace, the music that has stereotyped the music from the 60s, the people who say that all rock is hippie music, my rejoinder being Van Morrison, is really all part of a huge corporate conglomerate. Alvin and the Chipmunks, Kidz Bop, Disney, all these companies are distributing music for the sole purpose of wanting the monetary perks that come out of it, as opposed to the fans' undying admiration for their music. Shouldn't that be the aim of all music today? The artists should pay more attention to the demographic consequences of their music as opposed to the money that they can receive. Don't think about the mansions, the fancy cars, the drugs you can receive from it. Just screw all that. Think about the fans' admiration and their faith in your music. They can be inspired by what you write. And finally, let me address one more thing about Kidz Bop before I conclude this rant. Kidz Bop was recently caught under fire for covering songs such as Paparazzi by Lady Gaga. Why were they receiving complaints about that? Oh, just because the song features elements of stalking and attempted murder. That's all. Nothing major. Just first-degree murder right there. That fits the kids' understanding, right? They're not impressionable kids after all. Anyway, that's all I really have to say on this situation. This is Youngblood Fantasy 92, and ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you next time.